explanation. So, talking about investing in a stock, when you invest, how you tracking your investment, how you go about tracking your investment.
There's various ways. I think nowadays more and more people are using, discount brokerage firms to track their investments. So, like our firm, we have a relationship with TD Ameritrade, so our clients would be able to look up all the trading is done through TD Ameritrade, and so clients can look up their stocks and their accounts on a secure site, or they would get monthly statements. But you could track stock positions. So you would either buy investments through a custodian that would hold those investments for you, or you could actually buy direct. Like if you wanted to buy Johnson and Johnson, there's a transfer agent that you could look up online where you could buy through, and if that's but most of the time it's going to be a good idea to work through some sort of a custodian, like TD, which is now Schwab or Fidelity. And the good part is now there's not any, with most of them, there's no trading costs, right? So you can basically buy your investments without any transaction charges. So that's the easiest way to do it. It'd be better to do it that way than, in my view, than to buy it direct with the company, because that was good if you were trying to avoid, any kind of charges. But nowadays, all the major discount brokerage firms are offering free trading for the most part. So that's how I would recommend it, to be able to track it, and then you check in. You don't have to check in daily, but it's good to know and spend the time looking at your investments, looking at your net worth, looking at your budget and expenses. And there's great software out there to bring that all together, like mint.com, or there's so many different opportunities that you could take advantage of for very low cost, where you could have all your entire net worth being tracked on one login. And that's the best way. Again, the more you have it in front of you, the more you have your goals in front of you, the more you have your eye on your assets, and you're spending your time and your energy and your focus looking at it, the better off you will be. As long as if you look at it too much and you make emotional decisions, then you probably want to look at it less. But it's generally a good idea to be able to track that, at least on a weekly basis.
Good. That was a great information. So what about the tricks of the trades? What are the tricks out there? People tend to jump on, somebody say, hey, this thing's hot, and they jump on it, and then they get disappointed. For you as a coach, what kind of warning you give your customer or your clients?
Yeah, that is a great question, because it is something that I deal with clients a lot, where they'll read something in a newsletter, or there's an advertisement, and it's or their neighbor, and it's usually something that's a hot topic of the day, whether it's crypto or it's marijuana stocks, or back in the day, .com, and most of those end up being very expensive lessons to somebody if they're investing in it without really doing any due diligence and research on the topic. I would say that most of the time there's a few newsletters out there that people subscribe to that are pretty decent, but a lot of times there's a lot of fear that they're selling. And they're just selling newsletters, right? So the more they can either get you to be scared or talk about how this stock's going to go up 1,000%. The reality is that nobody knows, that there is no get rich quick things out there, unless you just got super lucky on something. But for the other 99% of us, the time-tested traditional way of investing is going to be the best thing for you. And when you're investing, there's a few key things of buying companies that are that have good cash on hand, buying investments that are low expenses, and for most people, it could be just buying an index, buying the S&P 500 and holding on, and that has proven to be better for most people than anything else. So you don't have to, again, try to get too overcomplicated with this. Just, you could either buy an index or work with a firm that will help you with making those investment decisions. But typically, the thing that sounds too good to be true, it 9.5 times out of 10 is probably it probably is too good to be true.
Great. That was a great answer. So let's move into real estate. Real estate is a hot subject in our society. And how do you go about advising your customer clients, coaching them regarding real estate?
Yeah, I like real estate. I mean, I would say, first real estate you want to focus on is your own home, and getting that, you're getting out of debt with your home. But if you wanted to diversify into some real estate, I would do it in a manner that it would not be too much loans. Do it in a manner that I didn't get over leveraged and overextended. And it's really mostly about the rental checks coming in, right? And so I like rent checks, just like I like dividend checks. And so having something that you can manage. I mean, when you own rental property, it does take time and effort, and it takes work. And so if you have that time and you're willing to do that, you can make a very decent return if you buy a property at the right price, and you can get some decent rent out of it. It's a good diversification versus owning individual stocks. But it does require time and effort to do it. And if you like that, and if you're okay with having a tenant, I don't own any rental properties just because I don't want to deal with tenants, and I don't have the time to do that. But I can also buy real estate companies that are publicly traded. And so a lot of them pay some nice dividends, and that way I'm being an owner, but I'm investing passively in it. I'm not actively engaged in it where I have to be there all the time. You could, you can do well doing that, but you definitely will be spending the time. But it's another thing that can generate cash flow, because ultimately that's the goal of all of us, right? Is that we want to build up enough assets that we turn those assets into income. And so real estate can be a very good income generator, along with an income, producing portfolio of stocks or bonds as well. So it's just another way to get that nice investment income check.
That's great. Great answer there. Let's talk about features and option taxes. I'm sure all these things have tax involvement to it.
Yeah, I mean, features and options. I mean, that's for most people. I would just say avoid it. It is more of a gamble. It's a way that you can leverage a certain bet, whether you think a company is going up or down or a price, but it's a lot more speculation. And so I would, even though they're promoted quite often as a way to make additional money, it's a very difficult way to make money. And for most of us, I would say you would do yourself a lot of favor and just avoid using those types of investment products altogether, and just, again, focus on buying companies, on buying property. Think of them as businesses, where futures and options are more speculative and are for more experienced investors. But again, it can make you a little bit more money, but it definitely carries a lot more risk with it.
Great. Gregg, we want to thank you so much for coming to Sticker Radio and giving us lesson about finances, part 2. We're going to have a part 3 next month. We're going to come to you again. If you don't mind giving your information over the line, millions are listening. So people who want to get in touch with Gregg PACITTI, expert financial advisor for over 20 years, let's listen to the information he's going to give it to us over the line.
Sure, yes. Well, you can always reach us at our website, which is ranchcap.com, ranchcap.com, or you can call our office at 941-462-2666. And we're happy to have a conversation with anybody. First meeting is always free. We have just a nice conversation about what you're already doing and where you would like to go, and see if we can help you do it.
Thanks again, Gregg, and we thank you for your time. We thank you for your lessons, and we will get back to you next month. We can take a subject. Today we study planning, investing. Probably we could go into mortgage or different subject next month. But thanks again. Thanks for
You're welcome. Take care anytime, pal.
radio. Thank you, sir.
All right.
And
Have a good
goodbye
one.
now.
Bye-bye.